Hello guys, and happy Sunday. I hope that you get outside and get some fresh air, because it is absolutely gorgeous in Kentucky, and I love that for Kentucky. But it has been on my heart for the last couple of days to talk about like bitterness, and just on a psychological aspect of it. I'm not a psychological professional, but I do hold a doctorate, so there's that. But when we're talking about on a psychological aspect of things, of whatever bitterness is that bitterness, in summary, is maybe an expectation wasn't met. And I recently have been there, right? Been there where an expectation of some kind was not met. And when I continue to take time and talk to God and pull out that root, and just speaking for probably majority of Black women, eldest daughter, it's a question of security. My security is being threatened. And what I mean by security is meaning that the puzzle pieces are not in the right place, that in case of emergency and the bottom falls out, I have nothing, right? And so, and in that, it forced me to remind myself where I am, in talking to God and really praying to God, but also making sure that I don't let that root of bitterness go any further than where it needs to go. Because when I think of the root of bitterness, like, I'm just going to use a tree, right? When I say it's absolutely gorgeous in Kentucky today, like the trees are blowing, all the trees are green, right? I mean, just beautiful, beautiful day. Birds need whatever the tree is offering, bugs, even wasps, buzzards, all that. Usually they're going to go in that tree because there's something that they need from it. And, they're not going to go to a tree that's dead and not thriving and has no use. And that's how I look at it for myself. Like, I want to ensure that my root does not wrap around anything that is toxic and that keeps me from really growing and turning green and producing something of fruit that someone else can benefit from. And now more than ever, not saying that because my mom's favorite color was green, but there was a legit reason why I think she really liked that color, because it signals life. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And being able to, extend life and being able to produce something for someone else's life to be, just as amazing, you really got to dig through those roots. And bitterness, I had to ask myself, what is really causing this bitterness? And so just kept pulling and kept pulling and kept pulling. And like I said, security is threatened. And so I think that's the reason why I think when just seeing like different people talk about dating and all this other stuff and feeling that, just want to make sure that I feel safe, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like, and safety might look different for others. Safety for me, I'm a private person, making sure that you're not out here trying to, tell my business and tell this person's business. And I don't really care for that. My safety means that I'm just going to say on a professional level, making sure that the income is there for not only my bills this month, but the bills next month and the bills in the month after that. And my security might mean, like, if I'm coming to you in need of, any type of mental health therapy, that I can talk to you and you not make me feel otherwise about what's going on in my life. And I think that I could speak to possibly some, not all, about, Black women feeling that way. Like, it's overwhelming for us. Our security is threatened on almost all of our sides, right? And so in order for me to really reassess what security looks like, it is going to take some time for me to really pray for God, and not pray for God, but pray to God, ask for healing. And Psalms 51 is very clear, where it talks about create in me a clean heart, and O Lord, and renew a right spirit in me. And that is so important, because the Bible also talks about how sick our hearts are, right? And we can't really trust it, right? And And so it even made me evaluate the whole concept of any type of phrase that says follow your heart. No, probably shouldn't do that, okay? Because if I follow my heart, I'm gonna get the cursing and slicing and dicing people, and I don't want to do that, okay? That's not who I am. That's not who I was raised to be. That's not how I grew up in a healthy church environment. And I get it. I think that sometimes I feel like that's where the concept, I'm not saying that this is professional advice, but I feel like that's where deconstructing is coming from, because it feels like that those are unmet expectations, right? But that's just my opinion. Listen, you can agree to disagree, and I'm totally fine with that. And I'm not trying to, tell you why you're deconstructing. There's a whole lot of reasons why folks are deconstructing. I get it. I respect it. Okay. But I feel like that, there's unmet expectations. Church folks are crazy. Okay. And so I get it. I promise you I do. But I think some of us let those unmet expectations really permeate deep into our soul, and we're not realizing that how our fruit that we're supposed to be giving to everybody else, how we can poison our fruit, and so it could be your coworkers, it could be your kids, it could be anybody you see in the supermarket, it could be road rage. Okay. I'm just being for real, because I think that road rage that comes up because the unmet expectation is that I need to get here to there now. Right. And you're not helping me meet that expectation because I need to get here, there, now. Move out my way. Right. And so I think that's where, and I'm speaking from experience, I've had a lot of things that has happened to me where I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I should not be producing a green tree. Okay. And I still don't even know if I'm producing a green tree with good fruit, but I should be totally in a different place. But when I think about, like I said, when I think about how good God has been, there have been times and things that I look back over in my life, and I shouldn't be where I should be. I shouldn't have what I should have. Like, God has been good to me, and that all came from really tracking where bitterness is coming from, tracking what's going on in my security, tracking unforgiveness, what's holding me back from really forgiving this person. How did they, what am I grieving here? What expectation wasn't met? How have I been wronged here? I do encourage us that, I think it's in Hebrews 12, I don't know which verse, but it does talk about pulling all of that bitterness out. Like, it shouldn't be there. Now, that's not to say that we can't struggle with it. Yeah, we're gonna struggle with it. But I do encourage you guys, that saint or ain't, that if you are struggling with something that is really making you feel like you need to be angry at something or anxious about something, just take time and then just really pull up where that root is coming from. Like I said, maybe you might be me. Maybe security is threatened. Okay. And secure, and we're not talking about security as in like protect your house, right? I'm not saying just that, but security could be car, could be financial, could be health, could be any of those things. So I do encourage you to really think about what are those things that are really, causing that root to go deeper and deeper and just keeping you from thriving, producing a nice green tree. So I would turn around my video to show you what this green tree is, but you'll see my dashboard. And listen, my car ain't been clean in a minute. But you guys have a great Sunday.